Welcome to Integrity Data. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to attach a tablet, either Android or iPad, to the software. To begin, you will need to have the tablet ready. That includes installing the PrimeNet Kiosk app, opening the app, tapping on the three lines at the top right, and then tapping on Settings. Once you tap on Settings, you will need to enter in the URL, https://time.idhrp.com. You'll also see in the first line a serial number that we'll need to add to the app here. So to do this, we'll go to Configuration, Time Clocks, and Time Clock Server 9. And I've got quite a few already set up inside here. If you don't have anything set up, the first thing you'll need to do is set up a clock server. And you'll click on that and click Add Group. You can call the group really anything you want. I've called one 2260, which is the biometric finger clocks. Here's one for tablet, face readers, and so forth. So I'm going to go to my tablet and right click, because once you set up the clock server, whether it be the name tablet or company name or whatever, you're going to right click on that and select Add Android Device. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's an iPad or an Android, you're still going to choose Add Android Device. And that's going to bring up the tablet clock configuration. You'll need to enter the serial number here, just as it appears on the serial number in the tablet. Androids are typically similar to this, whereas iPads may have dashes in between some of the groups of numbers and letters. You'll need to make sure those dashes are right where they should be according to what you see on your tablet. Description, you should have an easy description for this, maybe something like lunchroom, main entrance, corporate office, something like that, to where if you're having issues and you're at the tablet and need to call in for support, we can easily identify which tablet it is that you're at. We'll make sure we mark that active. Under clock model, we're going to choose tablet app. Authentication mode, this depends on what you want. Just a card ID, or the employee would need a card ID and a PIN. So these are for how the employee will identify themselves at the tablet. Your time zone needs to be selected. And here we're going to choose from the options that we might want. Simple things are enable start and end, enable lunch. Do you want employees at this tablet to be able to view their PTO, schedules, timesheet, things like that? In some instances you might, but if you're using a tablet as a clock in and everybody's lined up, do you really want someone spending 10 minutes looking at their schedules or their timesheet while others are in line behind them to clock in and out? So that'll determine really what you want to add to this tablet. You can require it to take a picture of the employee as they clock in. This photo would then be transferred up to their timesheet that you could be able to click on the in or the out photo to be able to identify if this was the employee that clocked in that was supposed to. For the out punches, we could create attestation questions, things like, did you have any injuries? Did you receive all of your meal breaks? And as they clocked out, they would have to answer yes or no to these for you. Enforce schedule. Do we want the employees to only be able to clock in when their schedule starts and clock out up to when their schedule stops? Level hierarchy. This is useful if maybe you've got 1,000 jobs in the system, but some employees may only get 5 jobs to choose from. You create those level hierarchy plans, assign the employees to them, And if you're using this option, when they go to switch departments, they'll only be shown those levels that you've given them the ability to see. COVID questions, these are on the clock in and defined as how you have them set up. Do you have a fever? Have you been around anybody that's been sick? Things like that they'll have to click yes or no to before their in punch is registered or allowed. Require tip. Quantity would be something similar to piecework. Duplicated punch tolerance, you always need to set this at least at 1. That way, if somebody's tapping on start several times, it's not going to keep bringing those duplicated punches into the software. And it says duplicated punch, but basically any 2 punches within a minute, it's going to deny all but the first one. You can set this up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. 1 minute is usually the norm. Minimum lunch, if your company policy is that the employees must be clocked out for at least 30 minutes before they are allowed to clock back in, we would set that up here. We leave the communication threshold alone. So once we've got this set up, then we can save it. Clock saved successfully. I want to make sure that that's what this says, and I haven't mistakenly duplicated this with any of the other tablets. So I click OK, and there we go. We have our tablet inserted. Next, we need to come over to Schedule, select the plus, and under Event Type, tablets only need the clock setup. We don't want to use the synchronized template. We could send level codes to the clock in case you're transferring departments and things like that so that they're on there. But typically the clock setup is all we're going to use. Date and time, this date is fine. The time is typically fine. And for this, I would typically choose active, immediate, and recurring. And my interval for this would be 120 minutes as a rule. The reasoning for this is that if you add a new employee to the system, they will not be sent to the clock until the setup is sent back to the clock with new employees and things like that, which is why I'll do recurring and set a time interval there for that. Once I've got this complete, I just click Save. Now, the other thing you can do here is choose a specific level that's going to be attached to every employee's punch who uses this tablet. And this is useful if you've got people clocking in and out in different areas, different departments, things like that. We can have the clock automatically send that over so the employee doesn't have to choose it. So in this instance, I would do department. I'm going to click Edit. Required. I'm going to choose a default. So anybody that clocks into this tablet is going to be, all their time is going to go towards the production until they clock out. I'm not going to put anything down here. And it's not open for me because I have a default level code here. I click Save, and we're good. Now I come down here and click Save. Clock saved successfully. Now from the tablet, you would enter that URL in if you haven't already, and it's going to ask you to choose an admin code and PIN. This should be the same for all clocks so that you don't have to figure out which clock has which sets of numbers. Something like a 4-digit number for the code and a 4-digit number for your PIN. Something where multiple people will know in case you're not there on a specific day and someone else needs to get into the admin settings of the application through the tablet. That's all there is to setting up a tablet in the software. Thank you for watching.